The Detroit Pistons had a very rough third preseason game, and while it's not time to worry or be concerned if you're a Pistons fan, there are some things to pay attention to. We'll break it down today's episode, Locked On Pistons Podcast. Let's go.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I am your host, Ku Khahil. You can find me over on Twitter at Ku Khahil. I've been covering the Detroit Pistons for the last 4 years for the Locked On Network, been credentialed media member over the last 3 years, and I appreciate all of you guys who make Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons, hit that subscribe button, or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. That's another great way to support the podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDINNBA for $20 off your first purchase. In today's episode, we'll break down some of the positives. There were some. This was a very rough watch, not a very good game from the Detroit Pistons at all in this third preseason game. We'll break that down. But there are some positives. We'll get to whatever positives there were later on. And then also, Jaden Ivey didn't play again. Why is he not playing? We'll discuss it a little bit later as well, because I am pretty confused about this. But let's go ahead and get into the game right off the bat. Cade did not play in this game. Jaden Ivey did not play in this game. Marcus Sasser did not play in this game. And Karis LeVert did not play in this game. Jalen Duren only played in 13 minutes. Isaiah Stewart only played 11 minutes. So I guess we can just get out the way the whole, you know how at practice a few days ago we just recorded last episode, JB Bickerstaff talked about how they wanted to use the final 2 preseason games to simulate real games, to try to simulate real rotations and real lineups of what they're going to try to do. And how I said I was super excited to watch these 2 games because of that. I thought we were going to get a clear look into how they're maybe looking at some lineup combinations, how they're planning on using certain guys, which players. Like, I was excited to watch that. That was clearly not the case. We were lied to. JB, you didn't tell me the truth. You lied to us, man. What's going on? You can't be. I'm trolling. I'm joking a little bit. I'm partly joking. I'm not being serious, but it doesn't seem like it was the truth here because, like I said, Cade didn't play, Ivey didn't play, LeVert didn't play, and Sasser didn't play. Don't know why. There was no update before the game. There was no announcement before the game. I looked at all the beat writers' tweets to see if they got something. They didn't say nothing about it before the game either. We haven't gotten any post-game pressers from JB Bickerstaff as of right now, so we haven't seen any quotes from him at this point. So I'm just going to assume they were sitting down due to rest. I saw Cade and Karis on the bench. I did not see Ivey and Sasser on the bench for whatever that's worth. But now that we got that out the way, without Cade on the floor, this was a really rough watch. The Pistons half-court offense, was horrible. It was very, very bad. And this was just an overall, the first quarter was really bad. The second quarter, they tried to pick it up a little bit. The third quarter, it played a little bit better as well. They got better a little bit as the game started going on. But overall, this was a very rough watch for the Detroit Pistons. Ausar Thompson, this was his worst game of the preseason. First 2 games, I thought he looked good. First 2 games, I was really liking the process that we were seeing with the ball handling, with the drives. We were seeing him get to the free throw line a ton. We were seeing him be aggressive on drives a ton. I was loving it. I was taking the process. Is what it is. In this game, if you look at the raw box score, you may think to yourself, if you didn't watch the game, like, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists on 4 of 7 shooting, it couldn't have been that bad. I think this was a very bad. I thought this was a very bad game from Ausar. He fouled out of this game. Now I know it's preseason. I'm sure if it wasn't preseason, they wouldn't be as aggressive. I guess. Like, I'm sure he wouldn't foul out in 24 minutes, but he did. Not very good. You didn't want to see that. And then also there were 2 possessions. There were 2 possessions that I was really frustrated with Ausar and really upset. He came off a DHO with a clear advantage at the top of the key. It looked like he was going to easily be able to get to the basket, whether it was for a dunk or for to draw a foul. One of the 2. It looked like he was going to have a clear lane, and he basically dropped the ball on the catch. Like, he came around, caught the DHO, and before he even put it on the ground, he just dropped it. So there went that drive. That was a wasted possession that he has to be able to take advantage of. That was probably his worst possession of the game. And then other points throughout the offensive, like in the first half, the previous 2 games we watched from Ausar, some people were saying that he was being too aggressive. They didn't want to see him be that aggressive. I was happy seeing him drive constantly, try to get to the paint and get fouls. I loved that. In this game, There was a lot of dribbling around the perimeter. No driving into the paint. There wasn't a lot of drives at all. Like, it was just a ton from Ausar and from other players. There's a bunch of dribbling around the perimeter in the half court. It was terrible to watch. And if Ausar's going to play the lead initiator when Cade's off the floor like he was in this game, that falls on him. It was not a good game from Ausar. And he shot 1 of 5 from the free throw line. And look, man, he cannot shoot that bad from the free throw line. Last year, he was at 64%. The final, like, 20 or so games, he's at 71%. I refuse to believe he's actually that bad as a free throw shooter. I refuse to believe he's gonna take 5 steps back as a free throw shooter. I'm gonna believe it's just preseason. He's not gonna rust off. He's not gonna shoot 1 of 5 from the free throw. Like, that's not gonna happen. I refuse to believe it. But just bad game from Ausar. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This was his worst game. He did not look very good in this game. Ron Holland started out good in this game. Ended up looking more rough as the game went on. I mean, you could see that all of these guys were really struggling without having Cade on the floor, which I think you shouldn't take anything from preseason too seriously to get too concerned about. But if there's one thing that jumps off that you are maybe slightly concerned about, is that this team still looks like, I mean, and now let's give the caveat just a little bit. The Cavs are an elite defensive team. And when you're playing without Cade into this Cavs defense you don't have LeVert either. You don't have any of the other ball handlers, not any of them. You don't have LeVert, Ivey, Cade, Sasser. You were playing Dennis Jenkins, who we'll get to in just a minute. You saw Dan is playing a ton. Like, that, it wasn't the greatest recipe for success going into the Cavs specifically. But the Pistons half-court offense still looks like it's going to lag a little bit, at least in this game. And I don't want to read too much into one game at all. Like, I'm not trying to, but without Cade, you could clearly see they were struggling without him. But Ron, I thought he was really effective early on. Hit a nice catch and shoot 3. He missed his next 2 3-point attempts, which wasn't great, but he had a nice 3-point shot in the first half and some nice drives. But then after that, I think he missed his next 6 shots, had a few turnovers that weren't very good. So Ron was very up and down as well in this game. He had 4 turnovers in this game. Actually, that's not very good at all. Duncan Robinson in the first half continued to look a little, he didn't look lost, but kind of like he is affected by the fact that the half court had no drives and no real movement, because that's how he's going to make his work. In the third quarter, he had a really nice DHO action and a dump off to Ausar cutting to the basket. But that's his best possession of the preseason, but overall didn't look very good. Dennis Jenkins, I want to get to him just a little bit here. Again, if you look at the box score and see he's 4 or 5 from the field, you'd be like, oh, he must have had a good game. When the Pistons, he had 5 turnovers, first of all. He had 5 turnovers, and when you saw if you remove the minutes that he played towards the end against like the other, not as good players for the Cavs, he started this game. And the last 2 games, as you've seen him pick up more reps against better competition, the quality of his minutes have dropped down a little bit. He hasn't played as well. I did not think he looked very good in this game either. The turnovers were a lot. He didn't look comfortable in the half court at all, running the offense. And look, I like Dennis. We want to see him continue to get better. He's shown in multiple spurts that he deserves a chance to be on, an NBA roster. But these last 2 games have not been very kind to him. He has not looked very good. He was struggling against the pressure. He turned the ball over a ton inside the paint. You could see that the length was bothering him a little bit as he got closer to the paint. So I didn't think it was very good minutes for him either. Outside of that, though, I mean, Duren was fine. Nothing good, nothing bad. I mean, it wasn't nothing. Let me not say nothing good. Nothing great, nothing bad. I thought he was just all right. Overall, this game was just not a very good watch at all. The players that you want to see stuff from, like Ron, like Ausar, didn't give you much to be happy about in this game. There were moments. Ausar had a really nice transition and one finish. Going coast to coast. You'd love to see that. Ron had a really nice drive in that second quarter that looked really good. Again, he had that nice 3. He had a really nice putback dunk as well. Like, there was moments where each guy had a highlight or 2. But overall, this was not a very good game for anybody. I think they really struggled without Cade on the floor. And for some reason, like, they didn't play fast. We talked about this a lot on the podcast, that they looked their best, obviously, last year. But even in preseason, they were playing much faster. Even in preseason, off of makes, they were playing fast. And they just, like, they weren't playing fast at all in this game. They were slow in the half court. They didn't try to drive the basketball a ton. They played slow off of misses even. Like, they just weren't playing to what makes them great, which is when they're fast and just use their athleticism. Don't know what was up with that in this game. It was not a good game for the Pistons at all. Go ahead and wipe that slate clean. It's preseason for a reason. You knock this rust off, you figure out what was going on, and you get ready for regular season. None of this really matters, so good thing it doesn't matter, but it wasn't a very good game for the Pistons here. So let me know, comment section down below or over on Twitter at Ku Khahil. How did you guys feel about this game? What were your guys' biggest takeaways? Were you guys upset with the watch? How rough was the watch for you guys? Let me know again, comment section down below or over on Twitter at Ku Khahil. Coming up, we'll talk about the few positives. Isaiah Stewart, thought he looked great. We'll talk about it. Tobias, another guy. Look, Tobias played, man. Preseason game 3. He's older, 15th season. Who cares? He loves hoops. He's going to go out there and hoop. We'll talk about the positives we saw in this game coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year with Monarch Money. Now I got to tell you guys about another one of our sponsors, one of my favorites, Game Time. Basketball season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for these opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your favorite team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the easy advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. One of my favorite things about Game Time is that I'm a procrastinator. I usually wait till the last second to get my tickets, and oftentimes when I go to buy tickets anywhere else, screws me over. I get bad pricing, I get bad seats, but with Game Time, they have great deals, they have great tickets, all the way up to the start of an event, and sometimes even after the event has started. I know, that for someone like myself who will wait a long time, I'm going to get a good deal with Game Time, no matter when I get the ticket. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go with Game Time. So one thing is, again, make Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. If you want to join us for the live watch parties when the season officially starts, I don't blame you guys if you guys want to skip out on the preseason games. They at times have been a lot of fun, but as the third quarter rolls around, it's time to peace out, go to bed. So I get it. But opening night, if you want to be a part of the live watch parties, I'll link it down below. I know a few of you guys have been, I had even more of you guys DMing me today saying you guys were having problems getting the link to work. If you guys are wanting to join, you guys need to go to your app store, whether you're on iPhone, what is it on Google Play? There's a Google store or Google phones, whatever, Samsung, whatever phone you got. Go to the app store, download the PLAYBACK app, and then look up Watch Pistons if the link is not working. I had a few of you guys saying the link wasn't working. You were trying to get in. So if you're having problems with that, you have to download the PLAYBACK app first. Download the PLAYBACK app, and then you'll find me on there. You'll join the room, create an account, all that stuff. You'll be able to watch live with all of us. It's always a lot of fun. Even during the preseason, we've had around 50, 60 people in there. It's been a lot of fun. And it gets to even more in a much larger audience. It's been a lot of fun with all the Pistons fans during the season starts. And I will have a film breakdown for you guys coming over this game within the next 24 hours, hopefully. Synergy usually takes maybe 24 hours to get all the clips uploaded where I can use them. So I should have one out for you guys within the next 24 hours, going over what made the Pistons offense look so. What I want to focus on is why their offense looks so bad in this game. outside of just obviously saying, well, Cade didn't play. So stay tuned for all that. I'll link it down below for you guys as usual. But let's talk about the few positives in this game. If you want to talk about a positive, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, there's no roller coaster ride. It's something to feel really secure about. It is the play of Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart looks fantastic. And he only played 11 minutes in this game, but I was saying this during the stream. I feel like he was the Pistons' best player tonight. 2 blocks, 2 steals, and just 11 minutes of action. Was fantastic on defense, as usual. Great at protecting the rim. He was running the floor well. He got underneath the basket and got some good post-up opportunity. He had a really good and-one opportunity in the first half off of an offensive rebound against Evan Mobley. Isaiah Stewart, I think, he's probably been one of my favorite players to watch develop for the Detroit Pistons over the last 10 plus years. Because Stu, when he first got here, I liked him when he very first got here. Then after his first year, I started to fall off of him a little bit. I feel like a lot of people try to say he was their starting center. He's going to be a 40% three-point shooter. And that kind of made me lower on him. But then after his second year, after his third year, I started to get higher and higher on him again. And he's just consistent. You know what you're getting from Stu. You're going to get great defense. You're going to get hustle. You're going to get boards. You're going to get blocks. You're going to get steals. You're going to get that attitude. You're going to get one of the best defensive play from a backup big, if not the best defensive play from a big in general in the league. I feel like he's really found his role in the NBA. He's comfortable with his role within the NBA, and he knows how he can be impactful, and he knows how valuable he is. So I thought Stu was fantastic in this game. There's nothing really to point out specifically about him. It's just that Stu is Stu. He's the same guy almost every night. He's going to play great defense. He'll get a few buckets here and there. He may hit a 3 here and there when he spaces out, and you'll get that every single night from him. Whether it's preseason or not, he's very consistent in what he brings to the team. So I thought Stu was seriously their best player tonight in that first half, at least. Tobias started to get hot in the second half, which we're about to talk about. But in that first half, I thought Stu was their best player. Tobias, 5 of 11 from the floor, had 19 points. Tobias in the preseason has looked a little bit more athletic. He's been going for some dunks, trying to go for some posters. He went for a poster on Jared Allen. Jared Allen sent it out of bounds. Ausar also tried to poster Jared Allen. Jared Allen met him at the apex and sent his stuff all the way back to 3-point line. Jared Allen is one of the best rim protectors in the league. He wasn't having that. But seeing Tobias look as spry as he's looked in the offseason, or in this preseason, I've talked about it in the offseason. I was like, he's heading into year 15. When are we going to expect to see some drop off from Tobias? Is it potentially this year? Do we see him start to maybe, take a step back a little bit? He is getting older. Doesn't look like that's the case. He looks really good in preseason. He was the Pistons' only real offensive option for real in this game in the minutes that mattered. He looked very comfortable. He looked just as athletic as last year. I think Tobias has looked overall pretty good. And he looks even more energized going into this year. I don't know how to explain it, but I think Tobias has looked good. Some bench players that have stood out, not just in this game, but really throughout the preseason. Bobby Klitman, listen. Bobby has a very good feel for the game, and we've talked about that many times before. He has a good feel for the game of basketball. He makes the right plays. He makes the right passes. He goes for passes that maybe other players wouldn't have. There was one turnover he had in the third quarter trying to pass through 2 defenders to Jalen Duren off of a DHO. Now, it ended up being a turnover, but the fact that he saw this pass, the fact that he saw this opening even there, and then the fact that he was able to get this ball through 2 defenders, honestly, I feel like Duren should have caught it. That read in and of itself was a crazy read. Crazy attempt of a pass. And then I feel like they're kind of finding something with Bobby. Now, I don't think he's going to be in the rotation this year. He still needs to develop on-ball skills and consistent offensive scoring option at all. But I feel like they're testing some things out with Bobby that has looked good in preseason, like having him come off DHOs. I think he's looked actually a lot better than I thought. When you get him downhill creating with the advantage, he's able to make reads off of it. He had a really nice lob to Jalen Duren in the first half as well off of a DHO. He looks much better coming off DHOs than he is attacking closeouts, than he is running a pick and roll or anything like that. When he's getting flowing downhill and he already has an advantage creating for him, He's a good enough guy with the feel and with his playmaking where he can make something happen. But overall, I feel like Bobby's looked a lot better in this preseason than I thought he would. I still don't think he's going to be in the rotation. That doesn't mean he hasn't looked better though. Doesn't mean he hasn't improved. He looks better. He looks improved. And I think people should be happy about that. I've really liked the minutes you've seen from Bobby in the preseason. And then I got to give it up, man. I trolled them on the last podcast. And I said I was joking. I did. I said, I want to make it clear. I said I was joking when I said this. But I said jokingly, again, that when Javonte Green plays any minutes in the preseason, it's like a waste of reps because you don't need, you know what you're getting out of him. Let's give some minutes to some other guys. Look, he came out in this game. Javonte was really impactful. He had 6 points of 3 of 7 shooting. Not the most efficient night, but defensively, he was all over the place. Defensively, he was aggressive. He was physical. He was active. He was active in transition. He had a nice Euro step finish off of a Jalen Duren leading transition outlet to Javonte Green Euro step finish at the rim. He was getting all kinds of deflections on the defensive end of the floor. I thought Javonte Green actually looked good in this game. So for all the trolling I did last episode, or I believe it might have been 2 episodes about Javonte, he actually did play pretty well in this game, and he deserves credit for that. So I think that wraps up really all the positives from this game. It was not a very good watch. If you want to talk about some few moments from some of the other guys that didn't play well, like I said earlier, Ron had a really nice putback. He had a really nice catch and shoot 3 at the beginning of this game. And he had a very, very tough finish going down the right side of the floor. A floater type of finish that was really tough. Really nice drive from him. You had a really nice transition drive and finish from Ausar Thompson and one look. That was great to see from Ausar when he actually was aggressive getting downhill to the basket. And then he had a really fantastic weak side rim protection rep. I believe it was on Evan Mobley. That was fantastic. Jalen Duren, like I just mentioned, we saw him grab a defensive rebound, go full court, and then find Javonte Green off a live dribble for an easy bucket. That was really encouraging. I know people want to talk about the Jalen Duren post fade we got at the end of the shot clock in the first half, in the first quarter, I should say. I'm not going to really care about that. It was in a shot clock. It's not something that's sustainable, not something that you drew up. It wasn't like it was something that they wanted to happen. You just kind of had to throw something up. I find the defensive rebound, dribbling full court, and then finding a pass off a live dribble a lot more intriguing and enticing. So that was some good stuff from Duren. And then, like I said, Duncan Robinson had that really good coming off a DHO to the corner, Duren rolling, and then Ausar cutting down the middle of the key, found Ausar cutting to the basket, got him an easy bucket. I thought that was the best play of Duncan Robinson's preseason. So, but that's really it with the positive. This game was not good. It was not a good watch. It was bad basketball for 90% of it. The Pistons hopefully can wrap up the preseason with the better showing come Thursday. And not saying they have to win. It's preseason. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Just knock some more rust off. Look a little bit more, alive, a little bit more active in the half court. Just look like you're putting some things together a little bit more heading into the regular season. But coming up, Jaden Ivey did not play again. I'm confused. I really don't get this. I'm not a doctor, but I'm not understanding this. We'll talk about it coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I've built parlays, tried player props, and even followed the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got something riding on the action, especially during a tough game like our Lions had against the Kansas City Chiefs, man. Just a rough game. But FanDuel can try and make a rough game like that a little bit more fun. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started with FanDuel. Again, if you're a new customer, put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets used across the app. Again, visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today to get started. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. That's another great way to support the podcast. I don't really even know, I'm sorry, I hit my mic right there. Apologize. I don't even really know, where I even wanted to go with this, but I just am like so confused by this that I had to talk about it. I guess now we're at the it's been like 30 minutes after the game ended. So let's go ahead. Let's see if we've gotten any quotes that matter from JB about this. Doesn't look like. I'm looking at all the beat writers. Don't think we've gotten any quotes or anything from JB. It is a road preseason game, so I wouldn't be shocked if any of the beat writers even went to this game. So don't think we're going to get anything. Yeah. Excuse me. I don't think we're going to get anything from JB over this. So we're just going to have to go with what, speculation here. Jaden Ivey didn't play again in this game. He hasn't played. He didn't play in the last game either, and he played a little bit in the first game. I did have a listener say to me that they thought they saw Jaden Ivey grabbing at his back in the first preseason game. I can't confirm that. I don't know if that actually happened. I can't confirm that. I do know that I had a few listeners say they thought they saw him grabbing at his back. So I don't know if maybe he just tweaked something or just, maybe he's just dealing with a sore, whatever it is. And just like, whatever, it's preseason, just to sit him, whatever. Don't know if that's what it is. But since I didn't see that, I can't confirm that. I'm going to go off of this. If they're just trying to rest him going into the season, like just to give him rest, I am so confused about this thought process here. I will give the caution, give this to start first, or my goodness, can I speak? I will start off with this. I am obviously not a doctor. So if the training staff has like this crazy, plan for him that we all just don't get, then okay, I guess we got to kind of just accept that. But you would think for a guy who hasn't played since January, didn't play in the playoffs, didn't play in the regular season. I know he did have an off season, but hasn't been able to play real 5-on-5 action for real. Someone that important to your team that we've been told is this important to the team, who's been off for that long, you'd think you'd want him to knock the rust off during preseason. You think you'd like to get him some live game reps during the preseason. And now, again, we haven't been told anything, so we're kind of we're forced to speculate here because we haven't heard anything about him being hurt. We haven't heard anything about. And I was at the live practice for the Pistons, and he was out there. He wasn't. There was a few guys that weren't just like actually practicing. Like Cade didn't practice, Ausar didn't really practice, Ivy didn't practice. There were quite a few guys that just didn't practice, but he was suited up and he was doing like shoot arounds and stuff, whatever. He didn't look like anything. Like I'm not a doctor. Who knows? But he was suited up and laughing with everybody and going through shoot arounds and stuff. But I don't know. I just don't really. I don't understand like what their thought process is here, because if he comes into the regular season and in the first game, this is the first time he's playing basketball really, because in the first game he barely got to play. This is the first time he's playing. He's clearly going to be rusty. If he plays well, that would be great. But I feel like the odds are stacking against him to play well right away if this is going to be his first game action in 8 months, like 9 months, coming off a big injury. Like I feel like the odds are against him starting off well. So it's like, okay, what's going on? Like, wouldn't you want him to start off well? And then it's going to take him. I would assume, like we've all watched basketball for a while. We see how these things go. Usually it takes a guy a few weeks then to work off of that and try to knock that rust off and get back into pure game shape and be back at where they were. So like, I just don't get like how, again, if they have some big plan, and obviously they have to. I'm not saying that they're out there just throwing stuff at the wall with no idea of what they're doing. I'm just questioning how effective this is going to be. Like, I just don't understand. Even if it's just for a few minutes. Now, again, if he's hurt, he's hurt. But we haven't been told that. So, I don't know. I think this is weird. I don't really understand why they're not giving him minutes and letting him knock the rust off. I don't see how this is beneficial for him. But I guess we'll just have to wait to see. Maybe I'm wrong, and this was the best thing for him. He comes out the gate all of a sudden being amazing. But I don't see how that's... I just got a bunch of Twitter mentions. I already have a bunch of people telling me that he was limping. They said that he looked like he was grimacing in the Memphis game. I must have missed this play. Again, this is just a few listeners. Probably like 5 or 6 listeners that have told me this. So take that with a grain of salt. But I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I do want to give props. I said something about this earlier about Tobias. Give the props up to the old heads in the league that even though it's preseason, we get out there and play. We got Chris Paul out here playing. We got KD out here playing. We got Tobias out here playing. Like, we got these old heads coming out. We got these young guys sitting out resting. We got these old heads coming out. Just love of the game. Pure love of the game. Who cares if it's a preseason game? We like to play basketball. We love hoops. We're going to get out there and play. Clap it up for them, man. Clap it up for them. We need more guys like the Tobias, like the Kevin Durant's, like the Chris Pauls. We need more guys like that who come out here, don't necessarily have to prove anything. They've been in the league forever, but just because they love ball, they get out there and play some minutes in the preseason, man. That's what we need. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. Till next time, I'll see you guys later. Stay safe out there, and peace out, everybody.